About me on the product management side, certain aspects which I like to share today. These are personal insights. These are personal experiences. Some of things you might find cliche because you say this I know, right? What's bigger in this? What's new in it? So what's new in it will be certain elements of scenarios which I'll share from my experiences, and hope those things you can relate with, and it may be helpful while you work along. Certain things might be new because considering my background of experience to anyone here, and some of things you may add. Please do raise hands in between. And if you want to pause me and I want to add something there, that will actually multiply my learning also and for everyone across. So that's it from my side. Let's go ahead. So Saurabh talked about tech perspective. He talked about more of communication aspects, how to interact with tech team, how to interact with the tech stack, so-called. I have taken the PPT, the slides onto the next level actually, bit lower to it, and I'm actually hitting at the L2 level, where you're interacting with tech, not the team, but the product. Because that is what sits with the customer. And everyone would agree the biggest job of a... Hello? Hello? Wait. No, it's working. Yeah. So biggest job of a product manager is customer experience. There is nothing else. Now, to give a good customer experience, and we can say one more thing because some VCs may say he's talking about customer experience, then let's talk about growth. It's customer experience and growth. These are the two major things which PM does, right? Or a product leader does, anyone, right? So let's see customer experience. You're sending the product to the customer. It's a tech-enabled product, right? So you have to understand tech. When you're talking about growth, how you measure growth, how you track growth is all about data, right? And where does the data stay in? Tech, again. So tech is the core of everything what we do. You need to get deeper into it. You cannot just stay away from it. So I have a very hard concept with me that tech divides into three things for me. And this is my perspective. I'm open to hear from anyone else and correct me if I'm wrong. Three things for tech for PMs. One is a technical element. So you... What is it? That's why tech is so important. The customer experience goes for a toss.
Hello.
Sorry guys. Okay, so I was talking about technical acumen. These are basics of tech. This is something nobody will ask you in interviews, but if you know it, you can move on to the next layer. When you get onto the day zero of your job, or day 2 of your job, or you become a leader, you know how to interact, and you have a confidence of asking questions. That is what technical acumen is. These are the basics of it. I have a slide on it. We'll go through them. Some of them will look like I have studied this in college. What are you talking about? But I bet, try to reflect it inside. Most of us don't know them properly. I've interviewed around 200 PMs last 2-3 years. I never interview those questions, but I know it deep inside. If I ask them, they won't know it. Okay? Second is system acumen. Do you know the system inside out or not? Wherever you work. If you're building a web application, if you're building a mobile application, if you're building an IoT device, co-working is all about IoT. Hospitality is all about IoT. Whatever you are doing, do you know the system inside out or not? That's the biggest thing actually. And just think about it for a minute. If I'm talking about this thing, system inside out, how would you do it? You have to sit with tech team. You have to ask right questions. You have to get deeper into it. Right? That's how you can give good customer experience. That's how you can actually confidently talk to your founder and CEO. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is the correct thing happening right now in the product. And when customer support comes to you, for example, someone from SaaS team, SaaS companies, customer support guy tells you that customer is facing this issue. You will 100% know this won't happen. Because you know the system inside out. If you don't know, you will have an answer, let me have a look, I'll come back to you. But when you say let me have a look, you will go deeper into it. Then you will have to see system inside out. This time I haven't done that.
Maybe you're by chance clicking this power button again.
No. This time I'm having my hand here. Okay. Okay, so any questions on this? System inside out? Pretty much basic, clear? Next is know-how of tools. This is pretty much cliche. You will find it in Google anywhere. But I'll try to give scenarios. On this side, we'll try to increase the font size. Why they are important? You might have clicked them. When you join any company, you see what the tools they use, and first day you look at them, and after that you just forget. Because of busy schedule, not because of intent. But I'll try to increase the font size so that you go back and look at them. Or in interviews, you can pop them up so that people feel confident that you know the system. Right? I think charging issue, the charging issue. This is the biggest learning. I'll try to share an example. So, you build a product, right? You give it to the customer, and customer comes back with a disappointment, this doesn't work. And you tell them, no, it can't happen. It's a clear battery issue actually, but you will confidently tell back the customer it won't happen actually. No, that's not the case. But if you take a step back and really experience and listen to the customer, you'll find out the issue actually. So how many of you are into product management right now? And how many calls do you guys take every month with customers? On an average? 80 calls? Wow. Which company? Five calls per month.
Not calls, basically customer interaction size.
Yeah, that is kind of.
Around say daily 30 to 35.
Sir?
What 10
a month.
Yeah.
So I take 2 calls per week actually, so it comes out 8 to 10. And these are like focus calls. Other touch points are always there, but I take 10 calls actually. I'll try to learn from others how much actually is an optimum number. It also depends on the company and the industry you are in.
Stage of the product.
Yeah, stage of the product. Okay, let's get back. So these are the 3 things. Okay, let me just go deeper into one of them. So technical acumen. What do you think? Database management system. Why I'm talking about that? How many of you know database management systems? Right? I'll talk about NoSQL. How many know NoSQL databases? Why do you need this as a PM? Is it a jargon to throw? Any questions? Is it a jargon? Any answers? Is it a jargon to throw?
It's like you figure out the capabilities of storing data, what capabilities to capture, store, and get the result.
Absolutely. The biggest thing, being as a PM, I talked about growth. How do you tell the growth? You build a feature, you build something, okay? How will you show growth? Data. Where do you get the data? Databases. Is it in SQL or non-SQL? Then you try to retrieve it, put it in an Excel, show it to the founder, or show it to the CEO, or show it to the company, or show it to the tech team. That's how you show growth. That's how you measure growth. That's how you track growth. So you need to know the database management systems first. Whenever you hit the company, ask them what database you have. Sit with the tech team, understand them. You should know the table names on your fingertips. Sorry, this might sound boring to some of PMs, but this is what I do actually. So I'm sharing my perspective, what I do at job. It sounds boring, yes, it does. That's why I take some time off. Okay, so you need to get deeper into why it's important that in the database is NoSQL or SQL. Because, yeah.
It depends on the query. SQL supports query and query.
And NoSQL, what you need to do is, it's in JSON formats. So you need to know the schema of the objects. And then you build queries. Now you have a business stakeholder, you launch the feature, you have a business stakeholder sitting on top of your head. It's 1 week. What happened to that feature? What will you do? You will go to the tech team, give me the data. You will run the query yourself actually. There will be so much pressure on you, and tech generally comes at 12 o'clock. PMs generally come at 9 o'clock. Right? Because you have to read emails. And business is sitting on 8:30 o'clock on WhatsApp or Slack. What do you do? By 10:30 you have to give the data. Because he has to show it to the CEO. This is reality. Right? What do you do? You'll write the query yourself. So you should know the schema like anything. As soon as they create the table or JSON, you ask them what is the structure. Give me the doc, please. Right? And there is nth resources. I am not pointing to anyone any resources because you can find it on Google. But this is the problem you will be solving while at job, or you are solving at the job right now, and this is the answer actually to it. To know the system. Next point. SQL. Now when I say database management system, you are running query on top of it. So you should know SQL like anything. How to learn SQL? Don't go to W3 schools. I challenge everyone has gone through W3 schools 100% times actually. But if I give any SQL query to write, even to analyst, I'm like shell shocked. Because SQL cannot be learned by W3 schools. It has to be learned by solving problems on Keynote or HackerRank. I love the CV where HackerRank is written that I know this much of SQL actually. I myself don't boost it because I don't have time, my rank has gone down actually. Interesting problems there, solve them, It will actually give you a confidence of giving and looking at data like anything. Because you're removing the friction to look at the data. You agree with me?
Yes.
Right? Let's go next. Communication protocols. Pretty much cliche. But how many of you understand the HTTP protocol? How many of you understand? What are the basic tenets? What are the number of tenets? I'm not asking about the tenets. How many? It's okay. Let's read them today. I read them actually every quarter once. And why do I read them? I'll tell you. It's not that I forget. It's just that I want to increase the font size. Because when I'm talking to tech, and every engineering organization, every inch, has a mix of people. Because you cannot have like superstar engineers everywhere, right? At every level. So there will be, I am talking to at least 10 to 11 freshers every day. So I need to repeat to them. That's why I read it. Because you are surrounded by some unlearned people who might not know the principles well. They will pollute you. So you need to read it again. Right? You want to add anything, sir?
No, just
So when I talk about basic attributes, read them. So you should know the basic attributes of what HTTP protocol is. Once you do this, what will be benefit actually? The benefit is you'll understand how your app talks to your server. You'll understand how your web applications talks to the server. How your mobile web talks to your server. What is something called an API? Right? How does the race conditions work? How does the third-party integrations work? A lot of things will get solved once you read about it. Right? Status codes. I get at least 10 bugs, 10 status codes bugs every week. OYO is a fast-moving organization. We built like rapid pace. Everyone actually, across India right now. Because the kind of ecosystem we are in stage right now, that we want to launch products ASAP. And we miss certain conditions. We don't even show the error messages properly. 500 is thrown, 404 is thrown. And if you don't know the status codes, I can tell you, best of luck. Why? Doesn't mean that you have to. Nobody will ask you this question in an interview, let me tell you. I don't know whether they ask from devs right now, but from PM, nobody will ask you. But why it is important? Because the error message is shown on the UI. You will go to the UI team. Let's say it is coming from backend. I'm getting an exception. You go to the backend. No. They are sending the wrong object. Request is wrong. That's why I'm sending the wrong response. Whole day gone. What is sucking? Customer experience. Growth. End of the day, you look at the data, nobody used the journey because 404. This is the problem. I face it daily. So I go into the status code and I tell him, this is the object, sir, you are failing. Please correct it. Get both of them in call. Don't talk in silos, please. Huh? Don't talk to them in silos, otherwise you will wander around all day. Right? Get them in call. Tell them it's 404. Object is filling. It's an authentication issue, or is it this issue? Fix it. Once you get into depth of this, two things will happen. You'll become proactive. That this way I understand the system. Third thing, they'll not mess around with you. Fourth thing, respect will go 10x. And you will become a 10x PM inside the company at least. Right? Is it clear? Then API handshake. Now, this is the biggest learning I have taken. If you read Twilio APIs, Facebook APIs, Instagram APIs, if you read Stripe APIs, I love them. I just love them. Try to read them every month once. One API. And read their complete documentation. And if you can run them on Postman, please do that. That will give you immense knowledge about the system, how things are working right now. The example I gave you, once you do the API handshake properly, you understand the system, you will actually find issues very, very quickly. And also, the world is API driven right now. You will find growth hacks quite quickly. You will be surprised actually. Right? So PayU as a platform, if they provide an API on their platform, you start using it and you take a permission from them, you get your keys, you get everything right, you start using them, you just plug in, you start using them. 3 days, right? 3 days.
Yes. Less than that.
Less than that. I'm talking about 3 days actually because I'm including QA effort. Always include the QA effort, otherwise you are screwed. Let's move on to the next thing. Anyone has any question on this slide? We'll take the question afterwards also. This thing, no products inside out. Whatever product you're working on, know it inside out. If you don't know it, you can't grow it, and you can't give a good customer experience. And I'm not talking about domain here. Nothing is specific to domain on this slide. Domain you should learn always. But I'm talking about product. For example, you're working on a product which is focused on traffic, right? Visitor monetization is less, it's ad-driven product. Your core focus will be DAOs, MAUs, stickiness, repeat visitors on web. Now all these metrics I talked about, everybody knows. But how is where daily users come and go? But what does this come mean actually in the system? What does the visitor define actually? The dashboard you see, when is the Google script actually kicks in? If you say order got created in my system, at what click it happened? Do you know that? I'll give you a very solid example. We were looking at the session time of parent and child at Splashmath. And nobody knew except that engineer who coded it 3 years back that it gets kicked in, the app session time, which goes into the DB. It gets kicked in after somebody starts the question, not open the app. You're reporting the wrong metric. And you're growing it. Grow. Imagine you're trying to reduce weight and you're increasing the intake of sugar. You don't know the metric, right? You're growing the wrong number. The base itself is wrong because the product guy doesn't know the system inside out. And if you're expecting CXO to tell you this, good day, have a good day. Right? You agree with me? So you should know the product inside out. App opens. When does the app open gets triggered in your system? When does the visitor lands on the web? Gets tracked. When is the Google script gets tracked? If you're using GA. Right? If you're using mixed panel, then also. Whatever analytics tool you're using, it's running through scripts only. Right? You should know that particular thing very well. For example, I'll give you payment success or failure. Now, payments are related to the orders. Right? So, when is it successful and when is it failure? How will you define that? Because payment integrations are like this: 85% success, 95% success, and it depends on the card, it depends on the payment gateway, it depends on a lot of things. And the person also who is interacting. Now, how well you kick in the order and when you report the success and when you report the failure is very important. And all these things, you're acquiring customers through Facebook, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, or some Instagram traffic, fan network, right? Now, you report these pixels back to these tools to look at the ROI of the campaign. Now, on success is also getting hit, failure, payment failure is also getting hit, and marketing guy is optimizing the cost. Just imagine. There is a transaction happened, 100 customers, 10 were successful, 10% is a conversion, right? 5 people more actually wanted to do the transaction, but the payment failed. On failure also you are giving back success to Facebook. Facebook will think 15 customers did, let me increase the focus on this. Or he will take the term from Facebook, will show it to his marketing CMO. 15 people got converted. Ideally, 10 people got converted. You are boosting the wrong campaign. Right? So you should know these things pretty well in your system. When does this script hit in? When does this happen actually? And actually I should call this slide, I summarize it. I'll try to use Hindi. Nazar hati, durghatna ghati. If you don't know the system while you're designing it, accident will happen. I'm 100% sure about this. It has happened with me so many times that it is now on my desk. Nazar hati, durghatna ghati. I tell this to my APMs, I tell this to my senior PMs, I tell this to my PMs. Please, don't remove eyes. Otherwise, it will happen. Then analytics tools integration, GA or mixed panel event. Now you're looking at some customer experience journey. How many of you look into the customer experience journey I'm talking about? Like customer clicks here, then customer goes here. Now customer completes this. He fills the personal information. In funnel there is a drop. You are looking at it at a scale of 70 million, 100 million. Or even on a smaller early stage company are looking at, let's suppose 10,000 or in lakhs. And you don't know when this event gets triggered. And you're looking at it. Just imagine. Because PMs mostly assume. We assume. We have a habit of assuming. Definitely ऐसे ही लगाया होगा. लगा दिया होगा ऐसे. मैंने उसको बोला था क्लिक पे लगाना. But आप ध्यान से उससे पूछिएगा. If you ask him, you'll come to know. No. I did not implement there. I implemented when the page got rendered. And you are reporting that number. So your growth is tracked wrong, measured wrong, implemented wrong, right? Third-party platforms, PayU, Stripe, Dunning, CRMs, all these integrations. When your customer comes in, when your visitor comes in, you trigger some data to your CRM, inside CRM, or you're using some MailChimp campaign. When does that happen? How does that happen? Go inside the system, try to learn it. Okay? Let's move on. The last one, which is the most important one, is develop system thinking. Especially someone who is working post mid-stage companies need to develop the system thinking. You should understand the basic architecture and constraints of it. I'll give an example. If you are selling a subscription product, you know payments will come recurring. If you are selling a one-time transaction system, it's an order. Think in concepts, systems. This is the ordering system, this is my payment system. Saurabh also talked about, he used the word module. Right? You're talking about, you're thinking. So, see, I'm actually trying to find an example where I can give you the beautiful example of this. For example, business comes to you and tells you that I need this particular feature, we will sell this actually. Because right now we are into new business models, right? Everyone is disrupting the old traditional business model and trying to bring something new. And in that process, they are trying to find new ways to make money. Co-working is the biggest example of that. OYO is the biggest example of that. Ola is the biggest example of that. Right? Fintechs will be the biggest example of that. Right? We'll try to squeeze in money from some way. And business will come, will tell you, I'm trying to sell this. Now when they say sell this, you will ask, where the customer? They said, I have the customer. You will be shocked actually. We have the customer also. So what do you need? Then what do you need? No, I want GST and invoice to be going to him. And I want payment. Give me the payment link. You will do it? Will you do it? So where is the recall will happen? How does the things will happen? Now, so you should not be thinking about doing it. And actually most of the people in India are hustling right now because startups are in that stage. 80% of people will tend to actually tell the business back to make a good repo. It will be done. End of the day, you will get the system. You will not think about whether it's a repeat transaction. You will not think about whether it's a one-time transaction. You will not think about finance. You will not think about its recon. You will not even think about whether this request will come on daily basis or not. That's how you need to think about system. If it is a one-time request, you actually point that user to ordering system. That this looks like a typical order. So you're thinking like a module. You're not thinking like कि meeting की transaction करनी है या इसकी transaction करनी है. You're thinking about module कि order करना है. That's what I'm talking about. System thinking. And after mid-stage, PMs need to think like that. Early stages, you may not think like that, but you design it like that. Because you think, I will get this request multiple times now. Let me develop a system which can collect money. Now you can pass anything into it. You can pass event into it, you can pass food into it. You can pass cab into it, you can pass hotel rooms into it. Right? Any questions? Then last, foremost, tools for PMs. Application performance monitoring. How many of you do that? Now, why it is important? Right. So, for example, we achieved at least 8% growth in our DAOs by mistake. That mistake happened by me. I opened Neuralink and I found out 3-4 years back. We were an early stage company. And I opened New Relic, which was implemented by mistake by Tech team. And I found out functional call was peaking. I said, why does this peak? I said, where is this function used? Is it when app gets opened? I said, let's fix this query. What is happening here? And we fixed it. We brought it down by 80%. We thought nothing will happen. App open time will go up, something of that sort. Our DAO went up organically. We didn't even try to observe it actually. But suddenly after one day, that particular day when we optimized that query, we found out that our DAO went up. This is the impact of understanding tech. You will get more ideas, and it's not difficult. You don't need to go back to the engineering college and do computer science. These tools are pretty simple, and all the mock platforms have courses related to this. New Relic is a very easy tool to use. App Dynamics is also one of them. Some companies use App Dynamics. There are multiples of them. I think tech would know better than me. Database related, warehousing and BI tools. Mid-stage, post PMF, most companies use warehouse tools. Right? So you should know Looker, you should know Tableau. But let me tell you, the beauty of these tools is just to store the data and present it in a way that you can read it. All the analysis of the world happens on Excel. There is no tool better than that. It gives you week-on-week comparisons, month-on-month comparisons like anything. And cutting, slicing, segments, whatever you want to do, at scale. I can confirm this. I sit next to Rohit Kapoor and Ritesh Agarwal. They are always on Excel. At scale of OYO, just imagine. And I get a lot of these queries from PMs that what is the best tool to analyze? I said Excel. I said that I knew. Something new, like a Google Sheets. I said, it is also same. I said, there is no more tool I have used. API tools, Postman actually. You should use it as much as possible. The beauty of this is, the QA will come to you, I can't test this feature. Tell him, backend is ready. You try to post the request and see the response. The backend will be tested at least. And you test it yourself also. Because UI development takes time. The reality is, because UI needs GUI designs to actually develop something and give an effort also. Till then you can test the backend at least. How much time you will save actually. Right? And you should ask the person who is engineering it, where is this API getting called? One of the biggest innovation of any product I have seen on engineering side and which motivated me and inspired me, I'll share the story of Instagram. People used to, when it started, actually the biggest growth hack of Instagram was, as soon as you click the photo and you click process it, it actually molds it and shows it in quick time. Now they have not got any special AWS actually or CDNs to do it or the code to do it or machine learning, nothing. Just a mindset that they want to wow the customer. Now their UI person didn't do it, it was a developer only. And developer didn't write a special script. It was a combination of growth guy, PM and a developer. What did they think? As soon as the person takes the photo, let's start actually lens machine learning algo. Let's start it. You take the photo, I'll start optimizing it. I'll start playing with that image. And I'll try to predict what kind of lens you will use. Basic lenses, I will produce it actually. And as soon as you land on that page, it is ready. And you get shocked. Wow, so smart people. It's a simple philosophy, so you need to understand postman actually and where it is getting called. That is also very important. Right? Trigger tools, okay, this is the beauty of it. As soon as you get the product market fit, as soon as you get it, CEOs will go to VCs, give me money, we'll get you growth. And they will give good stories to VCs, which is also fine. But inside the company, they will tell you, we'll get the growth now, we'll get engagement kicking. How? We'll send notifications, we'll send emailers, we'll send beautiful SMSs, we'll do call center also. That is also written in growth hacks. This is the reality, right? Nothing wrong with it. You should do actually. But a product guy needs to understand the call center process. If he doesn't understand it now, it's a waste of time. One signal, notification, segment, how to send the events. Firebase, no-brainer, GCM. Right? How does it work? You should know inside out. So notification, the biggest KPI of notification is, what is an engagement upon delivery? Now there are failures also in delivery. There's something called heartbeat, uninstalls. How do you measure them? So you'll have to go deeper into notifications. Emails, there are 3 statuses of emails. First is sent, second is bounced, hard bounce, soft bounce. Get deeper into it. Why does the domain systems of Gmail or anyone marks them? How does it do it? Why did you do it? How can you solve it? These are the growth hacks, you go deeper into it. Until unless you go deeper into it, you won't actually grow them. Same with SMS. Have you received a call from any campaign company, Bajaj Finance? Most of them would have, right? There's a beautiful campaign, and I hate that PM of that company at least. Specific function PM across the companies, including OYO. Because what will happen? They will actually, you pick up the call, you get the call, you pick up the call, and there's a tune running. Musical tune. Ta-dang, ta-dang. Some musical tune was going. Then somebody picks up the phone. Because the server called you first, and then he connected the call to the salesman. Now there is a delay in that connection. Don't think it's designed like that. Why someone will design like that? It's a lag because of cloud telephony. Now get deeper into it and calibrate it. Why it is lag? So you need to understand the tech to give a good customer experience. Right? This is it from my side. I'm almost done. Any questions?
Any particular questions for Gaurav? I think Gaurav, yeah. Ritesh.
So I have understood that tech is very important to a product. So being a non-technical person who has got into the product management thing, so what kind of tools he should learn, like being a non-technical person? What kind of tools he should get into? What kind of platforms he can learn these tools from? What kind of approach he should make towards this whole?
It's a very challenging question to answer, to be honest. Because I stay in a very doer kind of world. I don't stay in a faff kind of world where I'll just throw the answer to you and you'll solve it. Right? Won't happen. I'll give you 2-pronged strategy to do it. First is top to bottom. Okay. Where are you working right now? Think about the problems you are trying to solve and write them down. And parallelly, what you do is bottoms up use Saurav's slide, my slide, to get deeper into the things which I talked about also. And next coming up things. Note them down and try to do bottoms up of those things. And from top you come with the business problems and growth problems and customer problems. Connect them. You'll find the answer. This is both, so you have to take both the approaches actually. You can't just take this thing and you will be lost actually, to be honest. So for Instagram case, beautiful case. The product manager thought about the customer experience. And the developer might have thought, because Instagram and companies like Instagram, Pinterest are actually having growth hackers who are developers in themselves. Right? That's why they get these hacks very, very quickly. So you have to do the merger of both parallelly and start approaching the problem like that. Did I answer your question?
Any other questions? Yeah, sir. Yeah, just
What's
speak
your
from
take
there.
on a technical PM versus a business PM? So, is it easier for a business PM to get to learn technology, or is it the other way around? Like, so I am also heading a product in my organization. I struggle with this a lot. That I'm getting people, as you mentioned. I mean, these things are really important, and I've experienced that in my own journey. But a lot of times people don't have that knack, and they don't understand the technical jargons that we use on a daily basis. So, what's your take on that? Like getting PM from MBA schools or stuff like that? And yeah.
I'll answer that in two parts. First is, there is nothing in my world called business PMs or technical PMs. I try to look at the world from first principle point of view. There are people who want to grow the company. Now some know the degree of technical things and some doesn't know it. So who doesn't know it need to learn it. And how to learn it is having a good attitude. If someone is throwing jargons at you, the best approach is to ask it. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel at least a pinch of it. Yesterday someone was discussing authentication. I asked, why is it required? And authentication is purely technical thing. Some keychain they were discussing. I got into it. I asked for a link where I can read about it. So you should be open to ask. And you should do Google. That's it. Those are the two steps you need to do. And take it openly. Discuss it with engineers. Ask them. They feel very happy. That's how you build a good rapport. Take them for a beer, take them for a coffee. Ask them, how is this working? Explain me. You need to nurture someone's ego in these areas. Right? Did I answer your question? Thanks.
We're running short on time, so anyway, I hope Gaurav. Yeah. So I hope Gaurav didn't offend any technical person in the audience with his witty humor. But anyway, Gaurav, my one question for you, since you have been on both sides of tech and product both, you gave a very good product point of view as to how to approach the technical side. But what according to you are the top problems that a technical person faces in context of a product manager, or any product person? What do you think are the top one problem that you think?
Moving goalpost.
Okay, explain.
So morning 9 o'clock we discuss one problem and that's a P0. Afternoon we discuss something that is also P0.
P minus 1.
Or P minus 1. Or had to be done yesterday.
Okay.
That is the biggest challenge of an engineering manager or a technical lead, to deal with PMs or devs. That's my take.
I think that was fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on, thank you so much Gaurav for your time.